Hello, welcome to Salford Now. I'm Conor McCann.
And I'm Niamh McDermott, and here's what's coming up on today's programme.
You can feel quite alone.
Bereaved parents share their stories about baby loss.
We'll find out about new safety measures for knife crime victims as blade boxes are brought to Salford.
My son bled to death from his legs. Having them be in one of these here to pack it until the ambulance service got there, and then yeah, he might have been here today.
And why are little kittens ending up in boxes outside animal shelters?
A Salford charity is supporting parents through the pain of baby loss. In the UK, it is estimated that 1 in 4 pregnancies end in loss.
I went to the Emmanuel Centre in Salford, where parents shared their emotional stories about losing their babies and how it can be the loneliest time. Lighting a candle to remember their lost babies. These parents are sharing a moment at what can be the loneliest time. Megan is a mum who has experienced this feeling firsthand.
It's hard. It's a really difficult time to deal with and get over, and you feel alone. As much as family are there when you're going through that sort of grievance, you just feel so isolated and so alone.
In the UK, it is estimated that 1 in 4 pregnancies end in loss, either during birth or during the pregnancy. So that is why baby loss awareness is so important. We spoke to some of the brave mums and fathers here in Salford. Mum Kerry had 2 early miscarriages, and it affected her next time she was pregnant.
You can feel quite alone. When you're actually going through the miscarriage, nobody can be that person with you.
Dad Nathan and his partner lost their baby 2 years ago. They found out they were pregnant with their little boy a few months after the miscarriage and said how he was the support they needed. Nathan wants to help others who are going through such loss and discuss the mixed emotions they went through during the pregnancy.
Because what happened is like, what if it happens again, this and that, but we got all the way through the pregnancy fine, got to the end, she had to be rushed in, she bled out, Mrs. bled out, she had to have an emergency C-section, but then as soon as we got him home it was like a bit of a relief.
Visit from the Stork is an organisation and social enterprise working across Salford and Manchester to support parents. Kimberly Bond set it up 10 years ago when her best friend became pregnant and they felt they had nowhere to go as young people.
So I had this idea of creating a space where parents could not be judged and to ask questions and get answers about stuff. So the ethos of my organisation is that as soon as a person chooses to become a parent, then they deserve to celebrate parenthood, and that child deserves to be celebrated.
As someone that's watched people go through this and been a friend of someone who's gone through miscarriages, what would you say to someone who's also trying to support someone?
I think you just have to stay as strong as you can, but it's okay to grieve yourself, I think. Because when your friend tells you that you're pregnant, you have all the emotions as well, like they're looking forward to everything that's going to come, and then you just have to stay strong.
Last week for Baby Loss Awareness Week, parents came together in the Emmanuel Centre to create art in memory of their babies and to love, celebrate and grieve during a Wave of Light ceremony.
You're around people that encourage you to talk about it, which you don't get. It's not awkward to talk with the people that are here. They expect it. They expect a difficult conversation, emotion, and you can do that.
A place to remember the babies lost and loved. Niamh McDermott, Salford Now. If you've been affected by anything in the report, you can go to salfordnow.co.uk for support.
Now, during the cost of living crisis, animal shelters in Salford have seen a large increase of animals needing to be rehomed. Many people simply cannot afford to look after their pets anymore.
Sophie Rumsby is live at the Society for Abandoned Animals with more. So, Sophie, who have you got with you?
Hi Neve, here with me I have Tinkerbell and Charlie, who were found abandoned in an allotment in Eccles. These cats are typical cases of the many animals who are having to be rehomed at the moment because people just simply can't afford them anymore.
Aww.
By his owners 3 weeks ago. Tinkerbell was found stray at an allotment in Eccles. Coconut was left in a box outside a shelter. This rescue centre is inundated with cats and rabbits from Salford who need new homes.
Definitely seeing a rise in animals needing our help. We're seeing a massive rise in animals being abandoned. We've had them abandoned here. We've had cats found in boxes outside of our gates. We're finding a lot of people are moving houses and leaving their animals behind.
Last year in Greater Manchester, the RSPCA found rehoming had dropped by 19% from the year before, while the number of animal intake had increased. The charity fears the cost of living crisis means more animals are coming into its care, while fewer people are considering taking on a new pet. Over the last few weeks, this animal shelter has seen a large increase in pets needing to be rehomed. The shelter is almost at maximum capacity, and when it reaches that, it's going to have to turn away animals who are in need. Not only is this charity having to deal with the large number of intake of animals, but they're also having to deal with the soaring cost of utility bills.
It's always been busy here, but it is really busy here now, and I know the SAA have got a waiting list of people as well, wanting to bring the cats in. But yes, it has. I think the pandemic and also the cost of living rises, everything's affected everybody with their animals.
Liz has been volunteering at the shelter for 16 years. She is an owner of 2 cats and is worried she won't be able to provide the best care for them if prices continue to increase.
It's more expensive, vet bills are more expensive, pet insurance is more expensive. But at the moment, I am managing, and I hope to continue that, because I do want to do the best, because my cats are rescue cats as well.
The cost of owning a pet is a lot more expensive than people are aware of.
Over the course of a year, several £100s if they have no health problems. If they do have health problems, it can be several thousand.
Rising costs mean fewer people are willing to adopt, but there'll still be room in people's budget and homes for rabbits like Jasper and Daisy. Sophie Rumsby, Salford Now.
The message from the RSPCA is clear. If you can't afford a cat, please don't get one. If you're worried or want any more help or advice, please head to the Salford Now website.
Oh, some of those pets were adorable. Can we get a studio kitten?
Well, if you look after it. Anyways, October is Black History Month, and an exhibition is taking place at the Salford Art and Gallery Museum. They are celebrating influential people of colour within the community. Hadassah Daniels helps us to paint the picture.
Salford Museum and Art Gallery have put on an exhibit of 49 portraits celebrating black and ethnic minority members of the Salford community. Portraits contain pictures of NHS workers. However, the portraits also include pictures of council workers, developers, engineers, and all sorts of people that contribute to Salford's community. I spoke with Pippi Mailu, one of the women photographed, about what her portrait being showcased meant to her and her community.
I was a journalist back home, and for a lot of people from my community, the only job that people from our color can do is to be cleaners. And for me to empower a lot of people to go to school, to get jobs, and also to help my community to contemplate education is something that's it's good to empower them. And for me, I believe that Still I Rise is important for them to get the idea that people of my color can also take part.
Photographer Ali Crew explained the process behind the Still I Rise exhibition and what the people she photographed shared with her.
I'd go out and I'd take portraits of people who work in the NHS or the voluntary sector. So for me, there's a lot of sitting down with someone and saying, tell me your story. Most people talk about racism. I think a common theme is having to work twice as hard or 3 times as hard. But even really senior gatekeepers can feel that It's not easy being a person of colour and to be the only person of colour in senior management.
Ali mentioned that some people aren't happy that the exhibition is produced by a white person rather than a person of colour. I spoke with a few students to see what they thought.
I just think it's interesting, especially when something that's highlighting like black people and black voices is being constructed by somebody who doesn't understand those experiences and who has a lot of opportunities. So it'd make more sense if those opportunities were given to somebody who can reflect upon those experiences, whether through the art and behind the art as well too.
It's understandable why white people think that they can speak about certain situations that affect people of color. I think that it shouldn't happen, but it's understandable why they think that, because we want our voices heard. The situation is that we want our voices heard, not theirs.
Adassa Daniels, Salford Now.
Next, in the new scheme helping prevent knife crime in Salford. While knife crime stats are hard to come by, it's an issue that young people worry about.
And one parent whose son was a victim wants more people to be aware of the dangers. Lydia Houghton reports.
My son was a victim to knife crime in 2021, September, and he sadly passed away on that day.
Kelly Brown's son was a victim of knife crime in Greater Manchester last year. Now she's hoping for transformation rather than tragedy by raising awareness about knife crime and how to prevent it.
A documentary company came forward and they're working with Salford Council, and it's being released in November. So that's going through all the schools in Salford and hopefully across Manchester. I've also done other workshops with Roy. I've also been into St Monica's School and spoke to 1,000 pupils there. So yeah, if I'm doing I'm just one life, if I save one life or get through to one child, I'm doing something right.
Kelly's son Romero was only 16 when he passed away. In his memory and as part of her campaigning, Kelly has been working with the Manchester United Foundation, among other supporters, to pioneer the Bleed Box campaign. Kelly showed me around one of the bleed boxes.
499, you'll give them the location. They'll give you a unique code, dial it in. It will open the cabinet. As soon as you open the cabinet, so there's the body map. And it's so simple. You don't have to be first aid trained to do this. So inside is all the packs to wrap it, to pack it, to seal it. Just all there. Just follow the colour code for what part of the body's injured.
14 bleed boxes are already installed in Manchester, with the first Salford bleed box soon to be purchased. Alongside the bleed boxes, educational knife crime prevention workshops are also being held, the first of which took place at the Victoria Community and Youth Centre last night. Dean Hamer is chairman of the centre.
They're really, really good pieces of kit that could save a life at the end of the day, and that's what's really key about them. And as long as we can get as many installed as we possibly can across the country, that's really key, and that's what we want to get done. And it's in incentives like and workshops like this tonight that's going to be really key to help broaden the awareness of them and hopefully get the help to purchase more and get them installed.
Keep your eyes peeled for the first ever bleed box in Salford. It is the hope of change makers like Kelly and Dean that knife crime won't be such an issue in years to come.
A public launch event for Salford University Terrorism Studies lecturer Dr. Anna Kruglova's new book titled Terrorism Recruitment, Propaganda and Branding is being held at the university's Media City campus this evening. Our reporter Evie Pugh has more.
By 5 p.m, this theatre will be full of people on the edge of their seats, eager to view Dr. Anna Kruglova's new book.
So the book is based on my thesis that I did at Queen's University Belfast, and it's exploring the way how ISIS was able to recruit as many people and encourage them to join the group and travel from the west to Syria. And I'm trying to apply the marketing framework to understand how exactly this happened and why, despite the fact that the group was known to be so brutal, to be so cruel and do all these terrible things with beheadings and burning people alive, they would still be able to encourage people to support their cause.
Anna won't be the only person speaking at this evening's event. She'll be joined by Nicola, founder of Anti-Radicalisation Counselling Centre, Families for Life.
I set up Families for Life in 2016 as a result really of a personal experience with extremism, and because my son was radicalized back in 2014-15, and after losing him, and I was also training at the time as a counsellor, I just felt there was a loophole in the system and a lack of sort of support emotionally and psychologically for families. And that's where then I kind of felt, okay, what can I do to prevent this happening to another family or any other individual going down this awful path? So, and really that's what Families for Life is about. It's supporting families through that kind of psychological process.
What made you want to be a guest speaker at the launch?
What I read of it, it was, we were kind of on the same page, and particularly with the work that she wasn't just researching for a book, that what I found was actually, it was a lot of the research I'd done on my personal experience and working with the families. So I was kind of interested and found that kind of triggered me, and I thought, you know, this is interesting because actually that's what I'm experiencing with families even these years later, actually.
Anna plans to use the book to help teach her students, so expect to see copies popping up across the city. Evie Pugh, Salford Now.
Now we've got Jack in the studio to tell us more about a new project a charity in Salford is running. What have you got for us, Jack?
Thank you, guys. Interesting one for you all today. So, In It for Young People is a Salford-based arts and education charity for young people. Recently, they sent a group of Year 10 pupils from Co-op Academy in Swinton on a photo safari through their home city of Salford with nothing but their camera phones. The project, called Snap Your Town, aims for pupils to explore their home city in a way they've never done before, to appreciate that culture is quite literally on their doorstep. Some of the students visiting areas of Salford that were completely new for them. I'm now delighted to be joined by founder and CEO of In It for Young People charity, Mickey Dax. Mickey, firstly, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
How did you come up with the project?
So Snap Your Town was based, like you say, on the idea that every young person has a phone, and mostly they end up taking selfies that end up on social media channels. And what we wanted to do was we wanted to kind of reverse that and get them to go out into the home city, into the hometown with the camera phone and capture the beauty of their home city. Because some of the young people that we work with have never actually been out of Swinton, which is just one small enclave of a very big city. So it was really exciting to do that.
Now, the students at Co-op Academy in Swinton, they seem to have a pretty positive reaction to all of this, and we can now hear from Callie at Co-op Academy in Swinton.
It means to me, like, it just makes me excited because my work's on there, like, out of everyone's they've chose mine, and it's just like, makes you feel happy and excited because your work's on there so everyone can see it. It just makes you feel proud of yourself with what you've done so far, and it just makes you want to do lots more and enjoy it while you can.
So watching that, how does that make you feel?
Oh, it's an amazing feeling. You know, I founded In It for Young People charity on the basis of reaching young people that wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to express themselves through music, through drama, through art, through photography. And this is really exciting to see young people who, like I say, would otherwise only use a smartphone for one reason, actually go out there and experiment and see within their city the beauty and the culture that lies, and that's actually accessible to them as well. That's one thing, is, you know, a lot of these young people, like I say, haven't been out of their own home area, so to get them and to know that we've been part of creating that project is really heartwarming. It just makes me feel really proud.
Now, this is the first of this kind of project. Are you planning on doing any more in the future?
Yeah, so we're about to launch Snack Your Town, which is a really immense project. It's a D&T project, so it's about a young person designing a recipe, looking at budgeting, looking at sustainability, designing the packaging, designing a recipe, and it's the biggest prize that we've actually ever had to, been able to offer as a charity. And the winning recipe is actually going to be produced by the head chef of Gather and Gather with the young person, and it's actually going to be sold through Gather and Gather outlets nationwide, which is you know, a real good coup for any young person wanting to get out there and you know, get into the big wide world as a chef. So really exciting.
So where and when can we see these billboards?
The billboards are everywhere. We've got them on as many sites thanks to 75 Media, who've worked with as our charity partner. They've just been amazing, and they're a fairly new company. It's been nice to work with them, and they've got these sort of billboards that are all over Greater Manchester. We've got Bolton, Salford, everywhere. Keep your eyes out, keep peeled.
Mickey, thank you so much for joining us today. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Jack and Mickey. Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today. Thanks for joining us.
Make sure you follow us on our social media at Salford Now, where you can stay up to date with all the latest. Bye.